closing deals to opening minds. This is the Mr. Deed Podcast. I'm Omar Andreasen, and we're about to get real about real estate, success, and the grit that it takes to build your best life. Let's dive on in. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Mr. Deed Podcast Show. My name is Omar Andreasen, aka Mr. Deeds, and today we are very blessed to have Mr. James Brown. So sorry, I had to say that.
Bring it on. I love it.
So he's actually, no, let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Brown. He's actually in real estate and investment. I can't even talk now. Now I caught myself. So he's actually a real estate investing expert based in Colorado, and he's the co-founder of Colorado Co-Living, the hybrid real estate investing model, and Accelerated Capital. He's an author as well of multiple books, including Hybrid Real Estate Investing, and he hosts his own show called This Month in Real Estate Investing. Now, with this extensive experience, James actually manages large Facebook investment groups and is a founding member of respected financial communities. He focuses on helping those told no by the banks become actual homeowners and assist by busy professionals in safely building wealth through real estate. So, Mr. Brown, thank you so much for being on our show. And with all the accolades that you have, I'm going to love to dive into this. And we have some really great questions to ask you. So then hopefully this can pass on to our listeners and I'm sure they'll be reaching out to you. So if not, they should. So we'll make sure that they do. But thank you so much for being on our show.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on here and dig into all this stuff. I know it's a lot. That was a mouthful, right?
That was. But hey, you know what? That's on you. Hey, it's good that you achieved all this success. I love it.
Yeah,
So
man.
tell me, co-living. What co-living is as a scalable investment model? I mean, what is that? Tell us a little bit more about co-living. What does that mean? What is the definition of that? Definition of that.
Yeah. So co-living is renting out individual rooms. That's the basic
Mm.
premise. There's different flavors of that. Some people think of like student housing as an example. Co-living is not necessarily that. It's more busy professionals. It's affordable housing though. So, you might have somebody that's waiting tables at a restaurant, works at a Best Buy, or they're not killing it. And getting into a one bedroom apartment or even a studio might be a stretch for them with all their other bills. And so they might be able to get a one bedroom apartment in a shared home, single family home. Again, there's other flavors of it, but what we focus is on single family homes. So that's what co-living is.
So do you guys go out and I guess buy the property and then you obviously you own it, but then you also manage it and say, hey, this is a co-living space. So is that what pretty much what you guys do then also do in the back end?
Yeah, we basically help investors either identify an existing property they already have that might be good for co-living, or go buy something just on market or off market and turn it into a co-living home. And so we can help them identify which ones, run the numbers to see if it's going to make sense, help them add bedrooms. You usually got to add some bedrooms and set it up. So we do fully furnished kitchen, basically like an Airbnb. In fact, somebody here in the Denver market had a portfolio of Airbnbs and turned 20 of them, boom, right into co-living homes because they were pretty much ready to go. All they had to do is put keyless entry locks on the interior doors. So everybody had their own space that they could lock off, right? So yeah, so we help people with that, have a whole system for management.
So does that mean also too that so would the homeowner be responsible for all the utilities and then you just rent out that room at a price?
Right, yeah, we keep it real simple. Yeah, utilities included. You
All
know.
right. I gotta ask, how many times have you had issues with different people maybe not getting along? And if so, how does that get resolved?
That's a good question because it does happen. Yeah, you get different personalities. I try to put it back on the residents, be like, okay, we're all adults here. This is not student housing again. We're adults of all age ranges, 20s to 60s. I know of homes that are even higher range, but it's a mix. So yeah, I usually put it back on them like, hey guys, you're adults. Try to work it out here. Use your words. That kind of thing. Okay, they might be acting like children. So I start with that. If I have to jump in, I'll jump in. And the home I manage here in Denver is a mix of men and women. We don't, anybody can come. There can be issues with men and women. Like I had one guy, he hit on a couple of the gals in the house and they weren't having it. They were like, letting me know, we're not receiving this. So I got him on a Zoom rather than go meet in person. Hey, let's just use Zoom. So I'm like,
Mhm.
hey, bro, like, mano y mano, like, I get it. Maybe just stay out of the pool. Yeah.
Man, I'm sitting there thinking of all the things. And let me tell you why I'm asking so many of these questions because my house actually comes with an apartment above the garage. And we just bought it back in April. And we dealt with this. And not so much in the factor that you're dealing with it, but and a different factor because we just bought the house and it was being from the investment and real estate side and having and owning a property management company at one point
Oh, yeah.
short term and long term, you already know the people who are going to be an issue, right? You can already peg them. And I let my wife run with it because I just didn't have enough time. I said, "Here, you just run the ads, you do everything, you pick the person." And then she picked a person, and she goes, "Listen, this person says they have a dog. They have a lot. It's a therapy dog, and because we had it on there, hey, if you have a pet, cool, we're okay with it, but you're gonna pay a pet fee." And the rent instead of 1,500 might be 1,525. So then she went with all this. I'm not paying that because this is licensed, blah, blah, blah. My mom's a doctor and all this. And I looked at my wife. I'm like, I can tell you right now, if you go with this tenant, I guarantee they're not going to be here within 1 year. They will be out pretty soon because I can already smell and detect the issues. She's not because she wanted a female in there. I'm like, okay, go right ahead. So she picked their tenant was out within 2 months.
Yeah.
And I was very honest with the tenant. I said, listen, we just bought this house, and when you buy a house, you don't know you don't know all the quirks that the house has. You don't know what needs to be done because we bought it from somebody who didn't live in it full time. Lived in Connecticut, and we're like, the house was 1999, and everything about the house was 1999. And I was honest. I'm like, so there's gonna be some things that might come up, but I'm very active. Right when you report something to me, I'm gonna get it done. So, just to let you know. And anyways, it came down to where something happened, and I said I'm going to get it done. And in our leases here in Florida, we just have to give the tenant 24 hours notice. So I gave her the 24 hours notice, and she said, "No, I don't want nobody up here, this, that, and the other." I'm like, "Listen, not happening. I told you, I did my duty." And because of what it needed to be done, I'm like, in the state of Florida, I would have got in trouble for. I'm like, nope, I'm going to do it now, whether you like it or not, because I gave you the notice. It's in writing. We're going up there. We're getting it done because I want to make sure that you're safe. And long story short, we agreed to just walk our different paths.
Yeah.
And now we have an amazing tenant who doesn't complain about anything. Funny enough. He loves and everything's perfect. I even ran into him yesterday in the pizza shop. Dude, how's everything at the house? Man, I love it. I'm like, there you go. Look at that. But so yeah, I can imagine you got your hands full, especially when it comes down to what you just said. I'm like, man, imagine two or three females and then you have the one male. I'm like, ugh. I can smell a little bit of a lawsuit if he doesn't do something. So it's like one of those, man, you're walking a fine line on certain things, aren't you? Or I don't know how the rules are in Colorado.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot more strict recently, and there aren't any really rules around co-living specifically, except, so let me point this out. From the investing side, the stars aligned for us about a year ago. Our governor passed a law, statewide law, saying that there's no restriction to how many unrelated people live in a home because
Oh,
he's trying to solve the affordability problem. Because even our homeless problem is going crazy. Like I just took a walk the other day, many blocks down, like Colfax, our main drag that's known for being a little sketch. Oh my God, like every corner there was homeless people. Like you never used to see that. So the governor's trying to solve that. Of course, there's pushback. Home in a
Mm,
neighborhood, you got more people living in a home, but we've got to solve this. So the laws are going the right direction for co-living. We're one of three states, Washington and Oregon, also have those same new rules. So it's helping as opposed to like short-term rentals, Airbnb, VRBO, the laws are clamping down even more. Yeah. And as far as management, it's a blend between short term, which is day after day, maybe a couple of days, you got to constantly be getting new people and dealing with them, versus a long-term rental. People just stay and you're not hearing from them as much as you might short-term rentals or co-living. Co-living, yeah, you're dealing with people and their personalities where you're not going to get that with a household long-term or short-term rate. But there's a lot of advantages too. We're not, vacancy isn't a huge issue. Like we might have one or two people that are out and then we fill them back up quick. So vacancy isn't a big deal. We have cleaners go in once a month. So they got their eyes on the property. We go in and look and
nice. I
so
like that. Okay.
yeah, that's a big benefit for sure.
That is a
Yeah.
huge benefit. And I'm
Yeah.
assuming that they only clean like the main part of the house, like living room, family room, kitchen. They don't go into their bedrooms.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. And is there a law stating that you have to stay, like here in the state of Florida, at least needs to be 6 months in a day to be considered non-short-term rental, or if anything 6 months and under, then you got to charge taxes, sales tax and TDT tax, tourist development tax. Do you guys have a rule there that does it have to be at least 6 months in a day or a year, or when you do?
I'm kind of out of touch with that. I used to be a super host with my own home, and but that's been, yeah,
But with
quite
co-living, do you have to have a set time frame? How long that lease needs to be for?
not that I know of,
Okay,
like how that works. So we actually work with Pad Split. It's a big company that's been around for 10
heard of
years
them.
or so. So when I said the stars align, so our law passed recently. And then also Pad Split identified Denver as their next market. I think it's 21st market that they identified as a good fit where it's a large metro and we have an affordability problem and people want to live here. So
Yeah.
Pad Split came, partnered up with us because Pad Split, just to explain what they do, they do the marketing. So they find the members. So people that join, so we basically have a master lease. So Pad Split is the tenant,
Mm,
master leasing to members of Pad Split. So people come in as members, and so they have their layer of rules, and we layer on our own rules, house rules too. But so Pad Split, back to what they do, they market for the members, they do the screening and the billing. They take all that off of my plate. Then I just host, try to make everybody happy. And again, like back to other things that I do is help investors find a good property or convert a property, set it up with the right furniture. And like we do cameras in the common spaces and outside just so we can look back if needed. Sometimes that might be necessary. And then again, like locks on the interior door. So I've got that all dialed, super detailed. Like I can go into a house and go, okay, you need this. If you want, you can add the TV. That's nice because then people aren't fighting over what's on the TV in the common area. Like just go in your bedroom and watch your own TV.
yeah, no, I
So
like that. I like that.
yeah.
All right, so when it comes to rent to own and hybrid real estate investing, I want to ask you
Yeah.
some question on that. So, what's your opinion, and why do you think rent to own has gained such a negative reputation, and how can it be done?
Oh, great question. There's big companies that do rent to own, and there's like individual sellers that will sell on a rent to own contract, and they often do it wrong. So wrong meaning just setting up the end buyer, not for success, for failure by not doing the right things. And the main thing really is getting with a licensed loan officer in the very beginning and seeing, okay, this person, no one wants to do rent to own. They'd rather just buy, right? But they usually need to, and they're motivated to get in a house and not have to move. And like I run into all the time, people have their landlords go, "Oh, we're going to move back in the house or we're going to sell it because the laws are changing and it sucks to be a landlord these days or whatever reason." And they call me, they're like, "Oh, we're getting kicked out of our rental and can you get us in a rent to own because we can't buy," right? So first thing is get with a lender, find out why they can't qualify, and then what they need to do to get qualified. I usually have a good idea, but a lender that they do this all day long. And oftentimes they might have a program like a down payment assistance program and get them into a home now. And we as agents can help them do that. If not, we can still help them get in a home through a rent to own program. So I have a company, Real Home Solutions. So I help people. And the way we do it is once we have that buyer know what they need to do and that they're likely to be able to get a loan in 1 to 3 years is pretty common. We'll go buy them a house. Sometimes they're off market, it aligns, but usually we just let them pick anything on the market. And then, of course, we have the ability to say yay or nay, stay away from condos and mobile homes and stuff. We prefer to have a family that wants a single family home. In case we get the reason for on our side is in case we get it back, more people want a single family home, right? Near good schools in a metro area. So that's the lens we look at it. So if
No,
everything
that
lines up, then we get them a house.
no, that makes sense. What do you think so what makes hybrid investing unique compared to other models?
It's so that's basically a term like you're as an investor, you're kind
Hmm.
of getting the benefit of long-term holds and short-term cash like fix and flipping.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a hybrid. It's 1 to 3 years, up to 10. Like we've got one here in Denver that we gave them 10 years. They should be able to buy it within, they've been in 2 years now. But anyway, so it's like it's not long term, it's not a 30 year, and it's not like a fix and flip, which you're doing that in a few months, but you get money up front from them, non-refundable money. We're real selective, trying to find people that have some money. So it's usually self-employed buyers that need the full 2 years, usually of income, but they make good money. So that's usually a good fit for rent to own. But yeah, so we get some money up front that we give them full credit when they buy. I can go down the rabbit hole with all this, but basically they have that money up front. As an investor, we like it because for one, we're helping people become homeowners while also making money. And so we make cash flow, monthly cash flow, and then we have a set purchase price in the future. So it's those things, how much money they've got down, how much they pay each month, and what they're going to buy it for in the future. And we're real conservative on the purchase price in the future because it's got to appraise. Again, going down the rabbit hole a little bit, but that's a snapshot of what we're looking at. What's a good situation? Yeah.
Kind of want to ride on this rent to own because this is becoming a lot more talked about here in Florida because
Yeah.
we used to be an affordable state. It's definitely one of the most expensive states now. That's for sure. We're not as expensive as Colorado, that's when it comes to that, but
Yeah.
Miami's pretty damn expensive. Miami's always been expensive, but now
Right.
Miami's through the roof. And now that I hear you talking about rent to own, what pitfalls, if somebody's listening right now and they're thinking, maybe they're thinking about doing a rent to own or maybe calling you and saying, "Hey, I want to invest and pick your ear a little bit and you help me out." What pitfalls do you think should be avoided from the start when we're talking about rent to owns, whether it's the buyer or the investor?
The main thing, like no matter what company you go with, and actually two of the biggest companies just pulled out of the market at the beginning of the year, so there's very limited options.
Mm,
Those other companies got a bad reputation, did not help the reputation of rent to own because they would let people in with very little money down. It's
ah,
not enough skin in the game. That's why, as on the investing side, we like the more money that they pay up front, the that's non-refundable. That helps protect us a little bit and keeps
mm,
them those buyers in line, like we don't have to worry about vacancy and people punching holes in walls and whatever like a regular renter might do. That's the beauty of it. And we're giving them a home without having to wait or get kicked out of a home and have to, that's the problem we're solving. But yeah, so to the basic pitfall of it is if it doesn't work out, right?
Mm,
And again, going back to get with a lender. For me, it's a CYA. Hey, it's not just me saying, yeah, we can get you a home. Like it's a lender going, yeah, you can't get a loan now, but here's what you need to do. And as long as you do that, cool. So everybody's aware of their situation from the beginning. And as long as they do what they're supposed to, it works out. We've got a really high rate, like where the people actually buy, where
nice.
industry wide, it's been a very low amount of people end up being able to buy for different reasons.
Yeah, it's usually like 3% that actually like follow through. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
it's
really
not
good.
trackable, but I've heard some pretty terrible stats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like oh, people call me, hey, I want to do a rent to I'm like, do you even know anything about it? I'm like, you have to put at least, and like you said, there's skin in the game. I'm like, do you have 5, 10 grand, maybe 15 to put down? Because you have to
Oh,
do that, and then there's so much more other things. Sometimes they want more than that to put down, but
yeah. Like
then
we look for 10% of the purchase price,
there you
right?
go.
So
Yeah,
$300,000 house,
30 grand.
30 grand. Not everybody fits that, but maybe they should not even do rent to own. They should save up and buy the traditional way down the road.
No, I
Said there's a
agree.
lot of, oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying I agree with you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's just, like I said, there's a lot of down payment assistance programs that
Hmm.
people can get in with almost 0% down or a very little amount. Yeah,
Okay.
got options.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So let's talk about cash flow versus appreciation. Okay. So how do you balance cash flow versus appreciation, especially when it matters when we're talking more about long-term strategy? What would you say? Okay, if someone comes to you and says, hey, listen, because there's a difference between, okay, you have that cash flow coming in now, and then obviously everyone's hoping that it appreciates in time. Like I tell my people all the time, like whenever they're gonna invest in real estate, I'm like, you at least need to make sure what I've been taught, the rule is at least own it for 7 to 10 years if you
Yeah.
can, because that's when you'll probably see some of the best appreciation going through. If you don't have any cash flow coming in from, let's say, an apartment, or maybe if you don't do the co-living, because maybe you might live in one room and then do co-living in the other two rooms. I guess the question is like, what matters more in the long-term strategy when you're peaking, when you're talking to some of these people? Are they more to like, you know what, I rather just cash flow now and then fingers crossed I get appreciation later. So when you're speaking to these investors, like what they're looking at, especially when they're talking about their portfolios and they want to scale, what do you
Yeah.
talk to them about? What's the most important thing that you see from them right now? And then you probably turn it and say, yeah, that's great. But if we got you cash flow, that's the most important thing first. And then appreciation, hopefully, if you at least hold it for this long, that's great. But this is where the max is where you want to hold it. Does that make sense what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a timeless question, right? And the answer is based often part of it is like on what where somebody is in their investing journey, what they want, right? Like
Mm.
kind of a rule of thumb, cash flow keeps you alive, right? That gets your bills paid. And so most people want that cash flow and appreciation, you can't count on it, but that's where you become wealthy. But like you're saying, holding 4 to 7 years or something like that, like at least that much, because there's never been a 10-year period in our history where real estate has not gone up, right?
Correct.
So if you're in it for the long haul, it's going to go up. So you can't count on it, but you can look at that data and go, okay, as long as I'm holding it 10 years, like as an example, I bought a house in 2006 and then '08 hit. And I'm like, oh, this was the house I was planning to pivot and pull some equity out and get things going with investing. And I'm like, '08 hit. I'm like, oh, it's not worth what I paid or not more. And so I had to stick it out. But I stuck it out over 10 years and walked away with over $200,000 in equity, which was amazing. But I had to
Yeah.
wait. right? And I was able to wait. I was able to make my payment, right? So I
Mhm.
wasn't over leveraged where I'm like, oh no, I can't make that payment and lose it. Hear a lot of stories about investors that do stuff like that. So you got to find that like comfort level because leverage is amazing until it isn't. It's like you just, yeah, got to think about where you're at, especially if it's not your primary home, right? There's a reason you can buy a primary home with 0% down because, or 3.5 FHA, right? You're not likely to leave your primary home. But an investment property, there's a reason they require 20, 25% down because you might walk away from it and keep your primary, right? The bank's protecting themselves and protecting you a little bit by keeping that payment down. I know I
Yeah,
just blabbed on, but
I was gonna say one, yeah, and the bank's also making sure that you have your skin in the game because obviously they have their skin in the game and they want you to make sure that you stay in that property, make those payments, whether it's an investment or your, but obviously, yeah, it's invest on the investment side a lot more, hence why they usually want you to put a lot more down, right?
yeah. Yeah.
So
Banks aren't in the business of taking houses back. They usually lose. Go into foreclosure, it's going to cost a lot of time and money. That's the last thing they want, right? They were
exactly.
a little too risky around '08. They got a lot back. Uh,
Oh man, oh 08, oh 09. That's actually when I got into business. And I remember my first year, I'm like, man, this is awesome. So over here in Florida, Airbnbs were just that was brand new. The big builder Lennar, I don't know if you have Lennar out there in
oh yeah.
Colorado, but Lennar just got into the short-term rental business and hey, commissions are 10%. And I ended up selling like three houses at a little bit over $500,000. I'm like, man, this is easy money. This is great. And then the market crashed.
Oh wow. So they were building new and turning them into short-term rentals and then offering
Yeah,
10% commission to buyer agents?
10% commission. And mind you,
Wow.
these were not small houses, man. These were this the community that I remember, there were at least the biggest model that they have was it was 3,000 square feet, right? And it was a five bedroom, four bath with a pool. And yeah, they were selling for 550 at that time. And let me tell you what, and I literally, like I said, so three of them, and then the market crashed hard because they were rolling into, so I don't know how it was over there, but over here, for example, they're like, you're sitting there and you're working out the loan structure. Obviously, if you're gonna do short-term rental, it needs to be furnished, right? So they're like, furnished? How much? Package that's gonna be 65 grand. Roll it right into the mortgage. We're good. I'm like, oh, okay. So now you're mortgaging not only the house, now you're mortgaging the furniture as well. So then it's okay. So that's it. Here you go. Congratulations, you got a brand new home. Oh, by the way, the payments will go up in about 3 to 4 years because you have a balloon. And yeah, it just got out of control. Obviously, everyone knows the rest of the story, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Balloons.
I
One of
mean,
my
I guess
mentors, Ron LeGrand,
no, I can't say I do.
he's based in Florida.
Okay.
Lease options, rent own is his main thing he teaches. So he was my first coach, mentors. But I think it was him that said balloons are for clowns.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah,
Balloons are for clowns.
yeah.
He's not wrong. He's
He's not
not
wrong.
wrong. He's not
Yeah.
wrong. Oh man, that's a great thing. I'm gonna take that on for now. And now when my kids get mouthy with me or a balloon kind of like balloons are for clowns.
Actually,
That's
that might have
awesome.
been John Burley. He's also a sharp dude.
I
Yeah,
love
I
that.
think it was him that said that.
Either way, I'm stealing it. Balloons are for clowns. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
All right, two more questions and then we're gonna let you go. So, what if I ask you right now, what's probably the most memorable deal or lesson that you've learned right now since you've been in business and doing this?
My first, most memorable, oh gosh, I've got quite a few good and bad, but the one that I really was the first rent-own deal we did, a little unique. So it was actually another real estate agent that was new to the business. So he didn't have a full 2 years, right? This was a property in Minnesota. So we do this anywhere. We've done it in Florida, Colorado, everywhere. But anyway, he picked out a duplex and we set up the contract and Within 18 months, he was able to buy it. Now, so he lived in one side, rented out the other, covered most of his payment through that. So his payment was like $600 or 400
Hmm.
bucks. So it was really low. And timing was great. Like it was during the COVID time. He was able to buy it and walked into about 40 grand equity. Because when we set the price together for the future, maybe we did 5 or 6% average appreciation. That might have been a little high. I don't know. We usually look at what the market is, but
Hmm.
we set that price, and he walked into all that equity and was able to go buy a single family home with his fiance or wife and turn that duplex into a rental, all within 18 months, I think. Market timing helped, but we made money, got him a home, and turned him into a landlord with two cash flowing doors right away. So I love that one.
Dude, that's a great story, and yeah, and sometimes I wish we did have crystal balls because, man, if we can time something like that just in a timely manner. And you know what? That also goes to show that you make money in real estate when you buy, not when you sell, right?
Yep.
And I tell people all that, and then they just don't get it. I'm like, no, because you have, if you buy it at the right time, if you buy it at the right location, I'm like, that's when you make the money. But you just have to know. And sometimes it happens by accident.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, you look like a genius. Perfect. That's all that matters. So that's awesome, man. I love that story. Okay, last question. So we asked this to everybody that comes on the show. If you could just leave one deed behind, one action, mindset, or a lesson that you can pass on to any real estate professional or entrepreneur listening to today, what would that be?
I've got a lot, but say somebody wants to build wealth, get a coach, or if it's a primary home, they just start there, right? Get with an agent and a lender that know what the hell they're doing and can help you along. If you want to take it to that next step, like we do, and want to get a rental property or turn that first property into a rental and buy another one, do the leapfrog, I call it nomad investing, where you're getting those primary home loans and leveraging that. But yeah, find somebody that has done it before successfully, has a track record.
Yeah.
Even if you have to pay for that. Like I've
Yeah.
paid thousands and thousands of dollars to mentors, like I mentioned, but yeah, it was a sting, but it gave me the knowledge and the comfort that somebody was telling me what I should do. I make the final decision, but they're giving me some guidance based on my situation. That's worth every penny, every penny.
No, I would agree. And a lot of people always buck me on that too. But I'm like, listen, this person probably has 3 to 4 to 5 years already advanced education on that. Yeah. And you are going to pay for it, but you're going to get that information a lot more ahead than what you would have gotten already. Yes, it is worth it. So you hit the nail on the head, my friend. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Get the knowledge. That'll take away the fear. Like most people with especially investing, even buying their own home, they're afraid because they just don't have the knowledge. Once you have the knowledge, then you make educated decisions and you're not as scared. You still might have some fear. Sure.
mhm.
That's normal, but stack the deck in your favor with somebody that's done it.
No, you're right, man. You're right. Mr. Brown, you definitely gave us a lot of great information and you taught us some new terms as well. So I really appreciate having you on this show and talking to us about co-living, talking to us about the hybrid investing, talking about the rent to own, and definitely the stories that you have shared with us. So we will make sure, guys, you will be able to find Mr. James Brown's, all his contact details, always from website, coaching, LinkedIn, social media, whatever it is, YouTube channel, on down below in the description. So I just wanted to thank you so much for being on the show. And guys, remember this, all right? Actions build empires. Stay focused, stay hungry, and sometimes you just gotta give life a little bit of a whammo. I'm Omar Andreasen. Thank you so much for tuning into the Mr. Deeds podcast show. Until next time, take care. This is Omar Andreasen signing off and reminding you that success in real estate and in life is built one deed at a time. Until next time, keep it real, stay sharp, and don't forget to give life a big whammo and keep moving forward.